The people in the bus are looking through the windows as a boy is running super fast. His eyes look dilated, his whole body rigid, and running really, really fast. That boy was Aaron. Aaron ran like his life depended on it. Well, I mean, if you consider a bulldog chasing you as an emergency, you would too. Aaron could feel his heart racing and his muscles rigid. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. As you can guess, today we'll be talking how our body reacts to certain situations and the receptors involved. For now, we will look into alpha-1 receptors. Adrenergic receptors. So when we say adrenergic receptors, these are receptors that are found throughout our body on cells of tissues and organs. And these are the receptors where catecholamines, the norepinephrine, epinephrine bind to, or we can say that the catecholamines target these receptors. And we have two types of adrenergic receptors, the alpha and beta. So we'll be looking into the alpha-1 receptor for today. Alpha-1 adrenergic receptors bind catecholamines, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. These receptors are G protein-coupled receptors, and it is connected to the GQ protein. When this receptor is stimulated, it leads to activation of phospholipase C and eventually releasing inositol triphosphate IP3 and diacylglycerol. The liberation of these two achieves two main things: the release of intracellular calcium and activation of the protein kinase C, PKC. The protein kinase C phosphorylates, meaning that conjugate a phosphate to any given compound. Many proteins, they phosphorylate many proteins, changing the course in which our body reacts, or the course in which the normal physiologic sequence responds. So two responses are elicited here: the sympathetic response and the parasympathetic response. The sympathetic response, where catecholamines are released by postganglionic sympathetic neurons, and the parasympathetic response, where acetylcholine is released by postganglionic parasympathetic neurons. Preganglionic neurons cause the secretion of catecholamines on the adrenal medulla, giving the sympathetic response. Preganglionic neurons release acetylcholine onto cholinergic receptors, which are located on the cell bodies of the postganglionic neurons, where the postganglionic neurons release catecholamines binding to the adrenergic receptor to the target organ. The alpha-1 receptors are mostly located in the vasculature, the sphincter, and the iris. As I've mentioned earlier, the liberation of IP3 and diacylglycerol cause the release of intracellular calcium, and that results in smooth muscle cell contraction. So when catecholamines bind onto alpha-1 receptors and the target organ is smooth muscle, the muscles contract. So that is the first physiological change that occurs. And the second change is vasoconstriction. So when blood vessels are constricted, blood pressure and vascular resistance increases, and it also means vital organs such as the kidneys and the heart will be perfused more than any other organ. When the target organ is the eye, the pupils dilate. And when the liver is the target organ, glycogen is converted or break down into glucose 1-phosphate and glucose in the liver cells and muscle cells. And the alpha-1 receptors found in the prostate, seminal vesicles, and vas deferens. Well, in the seminal vesicles, they assist in the release of components of semen, and in the vas deferens, the smooth muscles contract, assisting in ejaculation. You can imagine peeing or even maybe pooping are the last things Aaron was considering when he was running away from the bulldog that was chasing him. And also, we mentioned that perfusion increases to vital organs. So the urethral sphincter contract, leading to urinary retention. And also the pyloric sphincter and the anal sphincters contracts to reducing the movement of food through the intestines. Drugs are sensitized either by mimicking or opposing the functions of the receptors in general. When we say, for instance, a drug is Alpha-1 agonist, the changes we mentioned, like smooth muscle contraction, blood vessel constriction, sphincters contraction, are the effects of that drug. But if we say a drug is Alpha-1 antagonist or blocker, it implies that the drug possesses the opposite effect of Alpha-1 receptors. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.